Ladies and gentlemen, over the last week or so, I've had quite a few video requests to do a video talking about my thoughts and opinions on Transformers Forged to Fight Beta and how it's kind of been and progressed over the last few months, and kind of give my opinion on whether or not it is worth playing when it is officially released on April 5th. So that was announced about a week ago at a games developer conference. So you have just over 3 weeks until this game is globally available everywhere and you can download it and pick it up. However, there are ways to get it at the moment via APK or using another country's app store and then using like a VPN. But you know, if you want kind of those ways and tactics, a link to the global community on Facebook will be there, and if you kind of want all that information, that is amongst some of the posts on there if you want to get your hands on this game right now. But there's still a lot of changes being made to the game, so I think for kind of like the best initial experience, if you want to play now, you can get a little bit of a head start. But you know, for the best experience, you probably want to wait until the game fully releases. Now, I kind of want to preface my thoughts by saying that at the moment, Transformers Forged to Fight and Marvel Contest of Champions, they are made in the exact same studio by the exact same company. And with the latest Marvel Contest of Champions update, they did a lot of stuff wrong that angered the community, that angered myself, and moved the game in a really bad direction. However, they've been very open with their communication and about kind of rectifying some of these changes at the moment. But that's kind of my base stance at the moment, is I'm a little bit salty at Kabam, the company that kind of made the game. However, with that in mind, we're not going to judge Transformers based on that entirely yet, but I just wanted to kind of give you the background of where my opinions might be coming from right now. Now, with all that in mind, my baseline opinion right now is Transformers is absolutely fantastic. I really enjoy playing this game. It is so much fun, and with every single update, they have really hit the nail on the head. There has been so much incredibly positive stuff come to this game with every single addition that they have done so far. I don't have a bad thing to say about any of the updates that they've done. They have addressed so many big issues with kind of character imbalance that you had in like the first month or so, where there are a couple of characters that were literally just reigning supreme. You had characters like Sideswipe that could like permanently like stun lock their opponents, and characters like Ratchet that had like insane healing and were very difficult to beat, and also characters like Bone Crusher, which you couldn't really fight with any other character apart from in Movie 1 Optimus Prime, to kind of counter his insane bleed damage back. But all of those characters have kind of been brought down to a bit more of a balanced level, while some of the weaker characters have been brought up. So at the moment, there isn't really like a super best character. It's like play whichever character you enjoy, and obviously some characters are like better in certain scenarios than others, but I think there's a really decent level of balance going on in the game at the moment. I feel like every character kind of has their pros and cons, and there's not like a god tier champion or a god tier character in this game that kind of completely dominates at the moment. So that's what I really like. You can play the character that you enjoy, and there are obviously like different pros and cons for various characters in different fights, and but for the most part, like, I really like that they've achieved like quite a good state of balance off the start, because that's one of again, Marvel Contest of Champions' like biggest game design problems, is that there were a few characters that were just so far above all the other characters that they made a lot of other characters and champions obsolete. So it's nice to see that they kind of have balanced the characters in this game around like a similar level to start off with. Obviously, you know, there are some caveats to that, but that's one of the good things that I wanted to address. Now, the biggest differences between this game and Marvel Contest of Champions, the first one is obviously the combat. So combat in Transformers is three-dimensional. It's more of an arena, whereas when you're fighting a Marvel Contest of Champions, it's kind of more of a flat line. You're kind of pushing the enemy back on the wall, and when you get to the wall, that's pretty much it. You need to like push back. However, Transformers kind of arenas, they're much more circular. They're like an arena, and if you get to the wall, well, you can sidestep. You can kind of go around the enemy and kind of back your way out that way. And I think the three-dimensional combat adds a whole new level of skill and difficulty to the game that just makes it so much more fun and so much more interactive than Marvel Contest of Champions combat. Because once you get like the parrying and evading down, I still really like Marvel Champions combat, but the three-dimensional aspect just takes the combat that I love to a whole new level. That's what I've really been enjoying about this game so far, is that I still cannot play perfectly. I still get wrecked when it comes to fighting some very difficult AIs, but it's like I'm fully aware that at the moment it's a problem with me not being good enough at the game. Like that's pretty much it. But I like that there's a lot of higher skill cap in this game. That's something that I certainly am greatly enjoying at the moment. So as well as kind of the three-dimensional combat aspect and all characters having a basic ranged attack, you also have three-dimensional maps. So instead of this kind of like little, like, I don't know, quest mission map, you actually kind of move your character around, and that's very fun in certain stuff when it comes to like Alliance missions at the moment, which were released yesterday. You kind of like are assaulting like this giant fortress with your Alliance, and it feels pretty good, man. It feels pretty good. It's a really cool feeling having these three-dimensional kind of real-world maps. I really enjoy those. It's just like a tiny thing, but it really enhances the gameplay experience for me. The next thing that you have that's a big difference is you kind of have bases, which is what you're seeing in front of you at the moment. This is my base, which is kind of, if you're familiar with Marvel Contest of Champions, it's kind of a personal version of Alliance War. So you have your own kind of your base, which people can raid, and you can raid other people's bases, and you get raid chips, which you can use to buy upgrade components. I think the base system at the moment, it keeps on getting better and better from what I can see with some of the patches and stuff, and you also get additional modifiers, so you can like basically like customize what will be the Marvel Contest of Champions equivalent of nodes. So you can have like unstunnable opponents, you can have like opponents that will have like a paralyzer, which gives them a chance to stun on their attacks, unblockable specials. There's a lot of, it's basically like build your own Alliance War for a base. That's what it is, and it's quite a cool system. So yeah, I quite like bases so far. There's a lot of like, what is it, like shitposting on the Marvel, the Transformers Forged to Fight global community of, you know, I raided your base, and then people trying to get back at each other. It's quite fun. It's quite fun. So I imagine kind of as the game progresses and you can build up more elaborate bases, and kind of people understand the champion synergies and, character synergies a little bit more, I think there's going to be some fun stuff you can do with bases. So I really like that feature so far. Now, the next one you have is kind of, what is it? It's a feature called Missions. So basically, it kind of reminds me of Garrisons in World of Warcraft, the garrison table you have. But basically, you can send Transformers out on missions to gather resources, and you have like different rarities of missions. So some of these are like arena chip rewards, some of them are raid chips. I don't have any rare or exciting missions, but you can have rare missions which will give you like the equivalent premium bot shards, which are really good and really rare at this point in the game. So you can actually like form bot and character crystals via doing these missions. So it's pretty cool. I quite like this system. I think, you know, I compare it to Garrisons in World of Warcraft because that's the only point of reference I have. But, you know, one of the main reasons those failed is because you had to go back to your garrison, whereas this is very easy to access from any point in the game. So throughout the day, you know, even if you don't have time to actively play, you can just keep the missions rolling and keep the rewards coming in. So that's some pretty good stuff. I really like that. It doesn't seem like, to me, a negative feature. It's not something that you like repeatedly have to do, but it's just like getting bonus rewards. And obviously, you know, if you want to maximize stuff, then it's probably a good idea to do it as much as possible. The next thing that this game has at the moment is they have no Masteries, and I believe instead of the Mastery system at the moment, they have the Relic system, which, as you can see, well, as you might be able to see, these are basically relics, and you only have 2 of them in your base at the moment. There are only 2 of them that you can get, so I don't think this system is anywhere kind of close to being complete. But the 2 relics, the only thing they do at the moment is give you an XP boost. So I have 2 of them. I have this one for doing 100% of the first chapter, and then this other one for completing what is it? Completing the most difficult mission at the moment in like Act 2. So they both give me a bit more XP, But you get some pretty generous rewards from leveling up. You get like a lot of energon, which is the unit's equivalent, and also like premium bot crystals at kind of various milestones as well. So there's some quite good incentives to continually spend your energy and just keep on progressing throughout the quest and leveling up. And the questing experience, especially like as you get onto Act 2 and get to some of the newer missions and newer maps, it's really, really enjoyable because it's a 3D map and it feels like you're kind of taking down and raiding a giant base, which is a lot of fun to do, definitely. So, what else is there? There's some really, just a couple of, like, odd quality of life changes that aren't even in, like, Marvel Contest of Champions yet. So one of the very cool things you have on the bots interface when you go to upgrade bots is you have a kind of smart select of your ore, which is the Marvel Contest of Champions equivalent of ISO. So you can tick that box, and then that will smart select, like, all of the ore that is either basic or matching that certain bot. So that's really, really good. Just very small quality of life change there. You also have rapid arena recharges. So one of the very annoying things about playing Marvel Contest of Champions and recharging arena is you have to hit that little plus symbol, then it loads for a minute, and then you just have to keep on doing that again. But in Transformers Forged to Fight, you just have a little rapid tap where you can just smack all of them, and it's great. It's so good. I really wish they'd take that over into Marvel Contest of Champions. So yeah, that's an interesting thing as well. But apart from that, Transformers Forged to Fight, again, I would really heavily recommend the game at the moment. It's still in its infancy. It's still a very early on game. There's not like a lot of endgame content to do. At the moment, you just have kind of some of the more difficult missions in Act 2, and you also have Alliance bases and stuff that were just implemented yesterday, which are really fun to do. I've been enjoying those quite a lot. So far, this game definitely has a solid recommendation for me. Everything that I've seen in this game, every update, the combat, it seems really promising, and that they're heading in a really solid direction. There's nothing in this game at the moment that is like overly challenging or super difficult, but it's really kind of getting used to the combat before kind of the equivalent stuff of like Act 3 or Realm of Legends is introduced to this game. And when that stuff does come in, I am very interested to try it out. Very interested. So overall, I think, you know, Transformers definitely has my recommendation. Is basically the point that I want to try and convey in this video. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like. That'd be greatly appreciated. Apart from that, take care and have an absolutely fantastic day.